will discuss about how we are loading data into Snowflake, how we are going to, what are all the different ways to load data. So what are all the practices we have to load data. So far we discussed how we are going to use, how we are going to use Snowflake, creating web account and as well as interacting with SnowSQL and also through Python. And we try to understand architecture, what are all the different layers in Snowflake. Those are all the things we learned so far. And slowly we are going to move into how we are going to interact with the Snowflake better way. So what are all the different ways of loading, unloading data? What are all the different file formats we are using to load? And all those options we are going to explore one by one. So if you see the Snowflake documentation, so this is a direct documentation, it is available. So we have different ways of loading data. Just quickly I will go through the documentation homepage. So and we'll jump into our practical session, how we are going to use Snowflake data loading best practices and what are all the different approaches we are using. So here you just, if you want to access this documentation, so I always recommend you to start reading the documentation. So this documentation is available, it's directly. So if you want, I can give the link as well, quick URL, so you can access directly. So let me ping in the chat window. Okay. So loading data into Snowflake. Basically, what we understand so far is that Snowflake is also one kind of database like Oracle, SQL Server, or Teradata, different other databases. So the architecture and the way they are going to implement this data loading process, unloading process, how effectively we are going to organize data whenever we are interacting with the Snowflake. Those are all the steps we are going to understand in detail in this topic. So here, basically, Snowflake hosting data, having a very good integration with the cloud service layer. So basically, it's a AWS S3 or Azure Blob or Google Cloud. So any place, most of the companies generally, if you would understand the high level understanding about the any project, people who are migrating their data into Snowflake. So if they are migrating, we'll discuss in detail about the project architecture, all these things. But for a high level understanding, so if you want to migrate data from Oracle to Snowflake and SQL Server to Snowflake, any on-prem database to Snowflake, first they will keep the set of files into, instead of loading directly into Snowflake tables. So we are using, there is an intermediate layer, that is a stage. So that is the layer keeping in the any of the cloud services. So if your company already involving with other tools in the particular cloud service provider, so they are using the same source to keep the files which is coming from the source systems. Let's say Oracle, the set of files are coming, that files are we are keeping into the AWS S3 buckets. From there, we are pumping all the data. It's easy process to load data into the Snowflake. So AWS S3, we keep all the files. We can take the files directly with the help of Snowflake features, and we can grab all the files and keep into Snowflake stage. From here, we are going to apply some transformations. Once we get the files into Snowflake stage, and we are applying ELT or ETL transformations, or we can keep the data into data warehousing layer. So that is the one of the way we can implement Snowflake data loading process. The same way, either we are using Azure services or we are using Google Cloud services. So Azure also directly data whatever coming from the on-prem databases, that is coming, that is we are going to keep into the Azure blob. From there again we are applying, it's easy for us to access data from Azure blob. We keep that data into Snowflake table. So then again, if you want to apply some transformations, if you are talking about Azure, at that time they are going to use any Azure Data Factory or some other Azure services to handle data in one by one layer. So that is in the different companies, the way they are implementing in different with the help of different set of tools. But for we are going to understand how we are going to use this data loading process in the Snowflake. What are all the different features and different benefits we are using Snowflake to load data into Snowflake tables. So here, if you want to understand loading data into Snowflake, so there are different set of files is available. The file format of the files is Snowflake supporting as of now 6 different type of file formats. So we can see that list of file formats in the Snowflake Web UI. So when what kind of file you are processing, that kind of file, that kind of format we have to select. So basically, it's is one of the feature in Snowflake is it's easy to handle semi-structured data with the help of Snowflake features. So whatever data it is coming from the source systems like a JSON or a different file formats. So Snowflake, it's easy to store the data into Snowflake tables, and it is an easy process to convert that semi-structured data to structured data. So that is the reason Snowflake is also having little advantages compared to other databases. So we will discuss that point, that kind of conversions also in the data loading process. So here, for quickly, if you want to, if you understand the data loading process, mainly there are different approaches to load data into Snowflake tables. So here, if you see, there are bulk loading process. So this is the one of the way we are using copy command. Copy command is used to load data as it is. If you have some huge amount of millions of data is available in somewhere in the cloud location or somewhere, so that you can simply with the help of copy command all the data will bring into the Snowflake table. That is the one of the approach we are using, that is called bulk loading approach. So we are using with the help of copy command. So we'll discuss how we are going to use copy command. So in going forward, and also there is a continuous loading process. So this is the date loading continuously using Snowpipe. This is one of the another important feature in Snowflake. Whatever files are coming directly coming into the Snowflake cloud services. Let's say today you are running 10 every day you are expecting 20 set of files from the source system. So all the files it's expecting around 10 a.m. PST. So that files it is going on landing into the AWS S3 or whatever cloud service storage layer you are using. So your job it's keep monitoring whenever files are arriving. It's automatically it is going to pull the data and process the data into Snowflake tables. So that is automation process will build in the with the help of Snowpipe. So Snowpipe is a kind of continuous loading process. Every hour we are getting some few set of files. Snowpipe will keep monitoring data into the cloud, AWS ES3 or whatever Azure Blob or wherever. So it's keep monitoring, and once file arrive into that particular path, automatically it will pull the data and will apply some basic transformations before loading data into Snowflake tables. So that is another way of implementing loading data using continuous data loading process. So we are using either bulk loading approach, which is we can use, and also continuous data loading approach we are using the help of Snowpipe. So all those things we need to, it is a one-time implementations, one-time setup, integration, all these things. So that process it's going to take care automatically whenever files are coming. So if there is any minor transformations we need to change, at that time we have to change the logic, or else we can keep it's a one-time process, automatically it is going to continue as it is. So and there is another approach. So basic loading data with the help of web interface. So basic instructions for loading limited amount of data using web interface. Even through the web interface also, we have direct options to load data from your local or with the help of cloud service, cloud buckets. So here we'll go with one by one. First, we'll try to understand how we are already having better knowledge on web interface. How we are, what are all the different steps available in web interface. So we'll try to start with the web interface, and slowly we'll jump into bulk loading approach, and then we'll jump into loading continuously using Snowpipe. All these things we'll implement practically in our session one by one. So that we'll get understand how we are going to use all these features. Okay, so first we'll try to use a web user interface. So let's go to this page quickly, and it is having some information, and we'll jump into our web UI and we'll try to load some sample data. So we have Snowflake web interface having some set of options available. What are all the different options and how we are going to use all those options? They explain clearly in one by one. So same thing we'll try to implement with the help of web UI options. Okay, some set of options are there. So we'll try to implement practically these options in the web UI. So we have different ways of using say even SnowSQL also we can use to load files. So and also bulk loading approach, copy command. That these are all the one by one we'll try to even we can use SnowSQL and we'll try to load some set of files, so that we'll get proper understanding on each and everything. Now I'm just moving to our Snowflake document web UI. So this is the page where we are going to interact with the Snowflake. So just I am taking new sheet to avoid confusion. So this is the empty sheet we are using. So now we have already some database, or else you want to create your own database, you can create your own database also. You can create your own database, you can create your own schema, and you can create your own table and try to process your data. Now we have already some set of databases, but we are using completely new type. Just will try to create your own database. Create database. So let's I have some set of sample files that is related to COVID-19 data. So COVID data is there. Just I'm going to create the database. If your database is already available, if you want to you replace, you can use create or replace, so that if it is available, it will just delete and recreate the database. So it is not there, but just I'm using this command for your understanding. Okay, run this. So database COVID-19 successfully got created. So automatically once you create the database, it is assigning COVID-19 database for this worksheet. So here we are not able to see any database. You just refresh it. Yeah, now you can see this database and what time it's got created, who got created, all this information it is there. Now you just expand this, so we can see only information, schema, and public. Now you want to create your own schema. So by default automatically it's mapped to COVID-19. So manually if you want to use the particular database, you can call this command, use database COVID-19, so that it will map to that particular database for this worksheet. So by default it's mapped, but just for your understanding, I'm using that command. And next, try to use create schema. So it's already under COVID-19. It will go and create a schema into COVID-19 database, COVID-19 schema. So create schema COVID-19. So even you can use for schema also, we can create same thing, create or replace. So if it is already there, it will create, delete and replace. Now just control enter, so that you can see this COVID-19 schema. It is available into this database. So here it is don't have any information. This is completely there is no tables, nothing is there. So here now we want to create your own table. So we have one sample COVID-19 data set is available, and that data set having some set of tables. We'll try to use same thing. Let me open that data sets. Okay. So these are all the different details available for one of the COVID-19 data. So data set. So we can try to use one of the data sets from here. We can use one of the table. So I can use this JHU COVID-19. So just run it. So you can, yeah, this table successfully got created. So this is having some data, country, region, province, state, and country, and different set of information. So all that information, even if you see that test file, this is the test file, is having some 100 records. So country, region, province, state. So this is the actual data. It is having around 100 records. This is in the form of CSV file format with the comma separated value. This is the data we are having. Now our table got created. Now just refresh it. So this is the data. You can see all that information here itself. It is having 0 rows, and whatever time it's got created, all the details it is available. Now we are trying to load data through the web UI. So just go to the database. So we created COVID-19 database, and this is the schema, and these are all the data columns and everything. So here in Snowflake, what is the advantages? Even you can write description for each and every column in the table itself. So here, if you see, you can write so country, region, what is the information. So that information also we can maintain in the comment section. So here, if you see, there is a the option. Now we are under databases COVID-19, and also it's a one of the table we created, JHU COVID-19. Now there is an option, you can see load table. So this is the option, just select that. We are loading manually through the web UI. So this option we can find inside databases under the table. Just select this. Now we have, if you see this particular page, so you may need to remember all these options whenever so basically, if you are trying for course certification, they may ask you some little basic questions, but it is sometimes you do mistake. What are all the different options available whenever you are loading data from the Snowflake Web UI wizard? So they will ask, so what we have: tables, schemas, stages, file format, sequences, right? So these area also we need to remember what are all the options available. So this kind of simple basic questions also sometimes it will come. Okay. Now here uh, so views, schemas, stages. We'll come back to the stages. Now we are loading from the web UI. So this is the file formats are very important. Now we are trying to load data from Snowflake local from the local computer to Snowflake table. That whatever file they are having is a comma delimited file. That is a CSV file. So whenever you are trying to load data from anything from local or cloud services, at that time we should Snowflake should understand what kind of file format you are using to load data into Snowflake table. For that, we need to create one file format, and then we need to load data. So here we don't have any file formats. Now we know we are trying to load data as a CSV file, and we need to load that data. Now, so just click on to the file formats. So here we can see there is one option, create. just select the create option. So you can see one option, one new window it will open. So here it will ask you to create one file format with the help of different settings. What kind of file you are trying to load? So what are all the options we need to consider whenever we are loading data into Snowflake? See here, you can use this file format name anything as per your convenience. Test CSV load or anything. Just I am giving for understanding. Test is CSV load. That is the name I am giving. And these file formats are completely belongs to the schema where we are working. So here we are working on particular database and different schemas. So in this particular database, we have two schemas. So we can select which schema you want to use. Now this is dedicatedly for this particular schema. And then here, if you see the format type, so we have different format Snowflake support as of now. So see, these are all the file formats Snowflake support as of now. So here CSV, JSON, XML, Avro, or zip pocket. So all these file formats, any kind of file coming in this format, Snowflake easy to load data into Snowflake tables. Even it is a semi-structure also. It's directly bring the data, load data into Snowflake tables. So it won't worry about it is a semi-structured data, but we need to call out clearly which format of file you are getting from the source systems. Now here we are having CSV. If you just select CSV, we have different set of options. So we have compression method, column separator, or a row separator, header lines to skip. So these are all the ETL options. Generally, whenever you are loading data from one place to another place, we are giving some basic set of transformations. So all that information that is directly we are passing into the file format. So field optionally enclose null string, escape character. So date format, timestamp format. So whenever you are dealing timestamp and date formats, at that time we can set up all those things in the file format level settings. So here, if you select this is a CSV options. If you select something JSON, so let's say your source is a not CSV, but it is a JSON file format. At that time, let's select JSON as a file format. See, automatically all the options are changed to related to JSON file format. So we want to enable the octal values, or we need to allow duplicates, or strip out or array. So these are all the settings. We need to ignore the UTF-8 errors. All those things we have to, based on the options you are enabling. So it is going to act accordingly onto the file which is coming from the source. So here and also if you select XML, that is having almost equal settings related to JSON. So Avro having don't have any much settings, and ORC also don't have, and Pocket don't have. So if you have if you worked on any time on these files, other file formats other than CSV and JSON, you just try to get those files and you can do same exercise loading data into Snowflake table and see the challenges, what kind of challenges you are facing. Now, so here we know this is a comma separated data. So this is the data we are trying to load. So we are all having some data values, and this first row is also header is there. Just to try to skip this header. Now file format we selected as a CSV. So compression is the auto compression. So GG for different formats. As of now, I am keeping the auto. So this is the column separator is a comma. So you can use sometimes your data is in the vertical bar tab, or if there is any separator which is not there, so you can use other and give some hash something, whatever separator you're having. So you can select your own. Now we know this is a comma separated value. So row separator is the new line. So and header lines to skip. Now we have header is there. We don't want to consider that header. So that is the reason you just give as a one. So it will skip one row and it will try to process rest of the rows. And field optionally enclosed as none. So now you go with the default settings as of now, and now create your own file format. Okay, so we don't touch any other thing as of now. You create test CSV load, it just finish it. So even so in the background, whatever actions you are taking, so in the background it is going to generate one SQL. Even we can do create file format with the help of SQL command also. But from Web UI, we almost all the options simplified. We no need to write SQL for it. So you can see in the below show SQL, there is one option is there. So this option basically it will create whatever options you selected. In the background, it create one SQL statement. Now just select the show SQL. Okay. So this is the what exactly how you are writing the statement, create statement for creating the file format. So this statement you can create manually also. So if you don't have Web UI options to create the file format, so you can create your file formats with the help of SnowSQL or any other ways. So the syntax is very simple. So create file format. This is the database name, schema name, and whatever name you are selecting. And what kind of file it is, type is CSV. So whatever options we are giving there, all the options coming here and it is taking as a space separator. So field table separator, field delimiter, record delimiter, skip header, field optionally enclosed. So same thing you can run through the Web UI also. Just copy it, and so now I am just finishing this. Finish it. No, you created your file format. So now you go to the worksheets. Even you can write that particular file format manually here. So this is you can execute if you know how to create file format through the SQL command. You can execute from the your web worksheet level also. So here you can execute, so that you can what are all the options you want to give. This is kind of an SQL statement you can run directly from here. So it's up to you how you can do that, but we have direct options in Web UI, so we don't need to write it manually. Now we created file format. Go back to your Snowflake. See, there is a file format. Even once you create the file format, you can able to edit your file format. So you created file format. Now you want to edit this file format. You just simply edit this. You can change the settings according to, maybe today you thought to you want to use same file format. It is coming as a comma separator. Tomorrow it's coming as a pipe separator. So you can go to the file format settings and you can change settings according to your how you want to access these files. So that is okay. Now you created so this file format is already available. Now in the same schema you can create CSV, JSON, Avro, different type of file formats. So for set of files you can use this file format. For other set of files you can use other file format name. You are using your own name. So you can call that name whenever you are using the data loading process, and you can load data into table. Now, so now here we are having tables, views, schema, stages, file formats. So this is, we are not going to use anything. Now go back to the tables. Now you created our own file format and go to the load table wizard. So just select this option. Yeah, you can see there is some new window pop up here. So here we are seeing four options. One is the warehouse, another one is the source files, file format, and load options. So if you want to load data from any source system to Snowflake, So first thing is we should have proper warehouse allocated to this. Now we have one default warehouse allocated, that is called compute underscore warehouse. So now everyone having a computer underscore warehouse. So we didn't create any customized warehouses. Now we can use whatever it is available. Now go to the next option, select next. Now, if you see the option here, source files. So here you are getting two options. One is you are getting data from your local computer. Another one is getting from the external stage. See, now we are trying to load data from the local computer. That is the reason we are going to select this. If you select second option, load files from external stage, just simply click on it. See, it is going to ask some stage details and path details. So what is the meaning for this is external stage means we have files available in cloud services like S3, Azure, or GCP buckets. So sometimes if you want to get files from there, you want to load. At that time, we are going to use this option, stage and path. So this point we are coming in next class. Now we are trying to load data from your local computer. So for that, we need to create the stages, we need to create paths. There are some different things are there. We'll discuss one by one. Now, first we are trying to load data from the load files from your local computer. Now select this. Select files. So select files. Now, if you want to load multiple files at the same time or single file, now we have only one file. So just select this particular file. Go with the JHU19. So just select this file. Okay, this is having 8.4 KB size. So whatever time it's modified, just we pick that. Now we selected the source files and go to the next option. Now, so here this is the file format what we are talking just now. File format is basically, this file is as a CSV file. And here, if you create multiple file formats like CSV load or JSON load or Avro, whatever it is, so you can select in dropdown, you can see all the file formats, whatever are available to load data for this particular file. So whatever you already created, all those lists it will show here. Now, as of now, we created only one file format, test CSV load. This is the file format it is created. So if you don't create file format, from this step also you can create your own file format. See here, there is an option plus here. Now just simply select plus. See, it's automatically taking to create the file format. So even before loading this process, we can create the file format, or it's in the process also we can create dynamically file format if you don't find suitable file format. Now here okay, now you see here file format already created. Now I'm going to select the next option, go to the next. So this is the data loading options. We have different type of loading options. So we don't know. So we already we thought some data is coming from the file, and we thought all the files having valid data, and it is going to load data into Snowflake table. But out of 100 records, whatever data is coming from the source, maybe your data type having something, it is trying to get something it's not in our control. So there is some issue with the data. At that time, how you want to take that step? Whether if you have 100 records, out of 100 records and around 5 or 10 records having some issue, let's say your data is not correct. So you have integer data type, but you are getting character data inside that column. So that Snowflake won't entertain to load data, right? But you are expecting values 1, 2, 3, but you are getting names something like Snowflake or whatever characters. So that is kind of unexpected data coming. And also there is a timestamp also wrong formats are coming. There are different ways of getting unexpected data from the source files. at that time. So you want to load only valid data, or you want to load if you have any issue in the file, you want me to ignore all data instead of loading, or you want to load only valid data, or how you want to take all those steps we are going to pause here. So do not load. What should the data do if the encounters any error while parsing a file? Do not load any data. So if you don't want to load anything, so it won't load. Stop loading and roll back and return the error. So stop immediately whenever you are getting error and just roll back. And do not load any data in the file if the error count exceeds. Even you can keep the error count. So let's say if you are having 5 errors in the file, if it is exceeds that, let's say 2 errors, just ignore. So if you can keep the threshold, if it is crossing 2 or 3, then you can stop loading process. Like that, we can keep the threshold and also continue loading with valid data from the file. Whatever valid data is there, just load the data. So that is also, we have all the different options are available whenever you are loading data from the different source files. Same process, we can use it for all 6 type of files, either it is a JSON or Avro, whatever it is, all the file formats it will take same. Now just see, we have some sample data, we don't know what will happen. We'll see, we'll try to load the data, we'll see whether we are going to load all the data or not. Just simply select load data. So it is trying to load data, encrypted files, staging files. Yeah, successfully we are parsing all the valid data and we are loading. We from the source 100 files are coming. That all 100 files are loaded successfully without any error. Now click on OK. We'll see, maybe we are loading first time. In going forward, we'll try to keep some error files and we'll see how it is going to ignore those files and where we can see those error files. All that information we'll do step by step. Now we are going with the valid file. So OK. Now we successfully loaded data into table JHU COVID-19. Go back to the worksheets and see, there is a, here JSU COVID-19, it is showing empty. Just refresh this. Here there is a refresh option, and now see, there is a 100 records got loaded. If you want to see all the records, just select star from. So if you want to select this table, simply double click on this table. So automatically that complete set of COVID-19 schema, JHU9 entire data table name, it will come. Now control enter. Okay, see whatever data is there. So all the country, region, province, state, country, fifth, state. So all that information, whatever is the entire data got loaded in this table. We can see that data available here in the Snowflake table. So this is how we can load all the data directly from the CSV files from your local computer. So even if it is 100 records, now we can able to load 1 million records or whatever bigger size file. It will simply, it is load data within seconds of time. So that is all the options it is available. So this is the one of the way we can load data. Same thing we can do with the copy commands. We can do with the Snowpipe. So using data into, keeping data into cloud,